Do you ever look at a Sylveon too hard and get this deep, transcendent feeling you can't help but resonate with? I have big news for you, buddy.
Sylveon has been adopted by the trans community for the coincidence that is their color palette, but it's not the only example of Pokemon designs transforming into gender allegories. Pokemon has over 1,000 different designs to choose from, yet significant ones constantly pop up in people's minds when we think of masculinity and femininity.
We've come up with specific Pokemon designs when gender is put into question, analyzing the intended inspiration behind the design versus how it was adopted into our cultural context, and what that can say about us, the human experience.
Iconic, masculine, or feminine Pokemon designs heavily lean towards traditional values and how we've been conditioned to perceive gender. Strong and tough for masculinity, delicate and cutesy for femininity, case in point pretty conventional stuff. Let's take a look at gender-locked Pokemon first, meaning they only appear in the wild as either male or female, always. We first think of branching evolutionary lines. Many gender-locked Pokemon have an opposite gender counterpart to parallel with, such as Nidoking and Nidoqueen, and Latios and Latias. As you can see with these examples, female counterparts appear rounder, more friendly, while male counterparts look rowdier and have sharper features. In the case of Nidoking vs Nidoqueen, the lighter part of Nidoqueen's chest is said to resemble, well, a chest. Whether Pokemon intended to or not, they have appeared to associate features to gender like a scale. The spikier design is, the more the company wants you to interpret them as masculine. In the rare instance we see a deviation, we still see female Pokemon exhibit feminine features similar to human makeup.
And way to talk about Kangaskhan too, her design visibly based on kangaroos and the baby in their pouches. And Kangaskhan can only ever be female. Given this design is based on a biological component, the lack of a biological male counterpart is striking, but it's probably not a dialogue the Pokemon Company wants to have when their target demographic consists of kids. Or somehow the female Kangaskhan can just generate babies on their own, because that is perfectly fine, but again, the Pokemon Company never discussed this as a thing that Kangaskhan do, so...
Now, what about the non-gender locked Pokemon? This is Machamp, classic beefy jock figure of hegemonic masculinity. Its name even derived from macho, and is based off a wrestler given its belt, which, yes, is part of Pokemon's biology, not an article of clothing, but that's for another time. Based on this, conventional values would have you thinking that it's always a male Pokemon. Wrong! It has a 25% chance of being female, although the uneven ratio is a commentary within itself, given that men are stereotypically adorned to be muscular and bulky. The fact it can be a biological female rewrites the conventionalist standard. Women bodybuilders exist too.
And yes, it's impossible to talk about gender in Pokemon without bringing attention to Lopunny and Gardevoir, as popular yet unfortunate icons of Pokemon femininity. Their gender ratios match, a 50-50 coin flip on whether they can be male or female. It's easy to forget about a Lopunny or Gardevoir's masculinity given the aforementioned, the softer features, the dresses, the delicate pose of Lopunny's hands to their chest. It's theorized Lopunny resembled the bunny girls of Playboy culture.
Gardevoir is definitely the princess archetype, contrasted with its only male counterpart Gallade, their knight in shining armor. You could argue that Gardevoir is the damsel in distress waiting to be saved, but of course, Pokemon contests against stereotypes whether it means to or not. Mega Evolution is a special form that increases a Pokemon's power in battle for a temporary time. Pokemon designers have tendency to make female Pokemon's specialty in mind, its moveset reflecting that through what we call special attacks. Mega Gardevoir looks more like a ballroom dancer. Gardevoir is no exception. However, when we look at Mega Lopunny, she has evolved to be something more of a kickboxer. Her hair is coiled into braids, and her fur turns a different shade to mimic workout leggings. Pokemon's most unconventional take on femininity is that they too can be rage-induced bastards. And at this time, I would like to shout out Tinkaton. You go, my warbound goat.
We'd be remiss to not mention the small gender differences too. One of the most iconic examples are the male and female Pikachu. The male one has a bolt at the end of their tail, the other a heart, and many outsiders of Pokemon don't know this because a male Pikachu has been taking the spotlight all these years as Pokemon's proud mascot, leaving girl Pikachu to kick rocks.
But again, with the softness versus sharpness commentary upon gender. Not that Pikachu won't ever be a rotund ball of cheekiness, but having a heart for a tail comes off more cute and less intimidating than a cool lightning bolt. Let's pull up more examples. Subtle, but upon further inspection, many gender differences could be given biological reasoning, but Pokemon blurs that line between biological reality and creative freedom all the time. Female Pokemon are often subdued. Male Pokemon stick to the script. Unless you're Sylveon.
We haven't forgotten about you! Sylveon is traditionally female. Our subconsciousness tells us so. The pastel palette, its sensitive nature, the adorableness of this gentle and emotional being. It was one of the first fairy-type Pokemon and a new evolution out of the plethora of ones from the Eevee line, dubbed Evolutions. It only evolves if it knows a fairy-type move and has a high friendship with its trainer. Again, stereotypically feminine. It is more likely to be found in the wild as a boy. Sylveon is an example out of the many the community has adopted that challenges gender norms from within or outside of our gender binary. To simplify, male Pokemon deserve to be soft and cute and prioritize their emotions too. What does this say about being trans? Arguably, not much actually, because sure, maybe its design resembles the trans flag a bit too closely, shows that boys can cry a little, and maybe all it takes is a simple gender ratio statistic to turn the tides. What's important is, many people look into Sylveon's eyes and see a mirror.
It's through the media we consumed and adored throughout our childhood that sticks with us as adults today. Sylveon is not the only Pokemon that has been adopted by a particular community and has experienced a personal phenomenon. There's popular saying that every Pokemon is someone's favorite. From a scale of, I like this Pokemon because it's cool, to I resonate with this Pokemon to levels that communicate beyond my soul, can be very telling and reflective of not only how we perceive gender, but the people we are.
I have great fondness for Sylveon, even before I knew of their adoption into an unfamiliar cultural context. I grew up with the Kalos region during my elementary years. They were simply a huggable design I desperately needed on my team. As an adult in college, I have a Sylveon keychain that follows me wherever I go. Identity is a constant exploration, but some things stick with you in your heart forever. Like Froakie, I was attached to Froakie before it was cool.
And I like Mimikyu, because he is cute and sad.